Hello everyone, welcome to back my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Young and the Restless 2-week spoilers, March 10 to 21. Billy and Nick get desperate. Phyllis life on the line. Young and the Restless spoilers show that Nick Newman, Joshua Morrow, and Billy Abbott, Jason Thompson, are doing some very desperate digging. And Phyllis Summers, Michelle Stafford, is facing death these 2 weeks. Young and the Restless spoilers, Audra and Nate's risky alliance with Holden. Monday, March 10th on the Young and the Restless, Audra Charles, Zulika Silver, and Nate Hastings, Sean Dominic, have a talk about Holden Novak, Nathan Owens, who wants her to be his friend. I think he wants her to be more than that, maybe a friend with benefits. But Audra reminds Nate that Holden is the only source of information they have about Damien Kane, Jermaine Rivers. Audra tells him that Holden was Damien's friend, and then he went to work for him. And now Holden seems to resent Damien. He told Audra that Damien has a nasty temper. So when Holden is asking about, can we be friends? You know, he doesn't know anybody in town. Nate actually texts back on Audra's phone, "Yeah, we can be friends, that's fine." Nate's hoping Damien will stick around for Amy Lewis, Valerie Pettiford, and that she gets more time after seeing this cancer doctor. So he's kind of just playing things by ear as he goes, trying to keep everybody together. Phyllis's captivity crisis, Sharon's forgiveness plea and a deadly scare. On the Young and the Restless, Phyllis is exercising while in captivity. She wants to stay strong to fight off this kidnapper should he or she show up. She spends a lot of time arguing with Sharon Newman, Sharon case, again on Monday. And Phyllis lets Sharon know she solved the last riddle. After some back and forth and snark, she finally tells her that the answer is forgiveness. Phyllis is again ranting about how she would rather die than forgive Sharon and make peace. Then, like an answered prayer, Phyllis suddenly has awful abdominal pain on Young and the Restless. Literally feels like she's dying. Sharon thinks she's been poisoned, and that Phyllis is being punished for not playing the game. Sharon begs their captor for help and gets some hints that lead her to a bottle of water with the antidote to save Phyllis. But this was a huge scare. It's the worst thing that has been done to Sharon and Phyllis so far in captivity, and they are also given another riddle to solve on Monday. Nikki, Nick, and Billy's desperate search for Phyllis and Sharon. Meanwhile, Nikki Newman, Melody Thomas Scott, Nick, and Billy form a reluctant alliance to find Phyllis, which of course means also finding Sharon. Of course, they're concerned about Sharon, but their main conversation is about Phyllis. They have run out of ideas of where to check, people to call. They've run down all the leads, and everybody is reaching their point of thinking this has turned fatal. Young and the Restless, Holden's flirtation with Claire and Summer's interference. Tuesday, March 11th, Holden decides to broaden his horizons a little bit by chatting up beautiful Claire Grace Newman, Haley Aaron. She is alone at the bar at the GCAC because Kyle Abbott, Michael Mueller, her date, is running late. Holden slides up beside her, and they spend some time chatting. I do wonder if Kyle will walk in while handsome Holden is still there talking with Claire, because Summer Newman, Allison Lanier, is intentionally running him late. She wants to cause a rift between Kyle and Claire on Young and the Restless, and she overheard Kyle making plans with Claire. So of course, she is going to make it so he's not there on time, and it's just happenstance that Holden steps in. Maybe that'll be a little wake-up call for Kyle to not let Summer distract him. Captivity drama, Phyllis's tough decision and Tracy's surprising news. Meanwhile on Y&R, the kidnapper forces Phyllis to make a very tough decision. Wednesday, March 12th, we have got Tracy Abbott, Beth Maitland, sharing some surprising news with Jack Abbott, Peter Bergman. We also have Alan Laurent, Christopher Cousins, on the cusp of making a proposal. She tells him how happy that he makes her, and he's thrilled that Tracy feels that way, and Alan basically says he wants to marry her. She's stunned. Looks like the engagement is happening. Chance Chancellor, Connor Floyd, comforts Summer, because heaven knows Kyle is not going to be comforting her after another stunt that she pulled, and Phyllis and Sharon try to take control. Betrayal and traps, Jack's confession, Victor's questions, and Adam's dilemma. Then on Thursday, March 13th, Jack is confessing something to Diane Jenkins, Susan Walters. I'm assuming it's not that he has kidnapped the two women and put them somewhere together, although that would be kind of funny. Phyllis and Sharon fall into a trap, and I guess that's what happens when they try to take control when they are completely out of control and held prisoner in that icky place. Victor Newman, Eric Braden, questions the decisions that Adam Newman, Mark Grossman, is making. And I'm guessing this is about the Abbotts and what he's doing at Newman Media, because Victor, of course, wants him trashing Billy, trashing Jack, trashing Jebot, and Adam is always willing to trash Billy. However, Chelsea Lawson Newman, Melissa Claire Egan, is still going to be a factor, and he is trying to woo and win her, and she won't like that. She hates when Adam and Billy are going at each other, so we'll see how far Adam pushes Victor's patience. Friday, on The Young and the Restless, we have got Chance coming to Billy and Nick, and he's got a lead. This is the big deal. It's the first lead they have really had other than finding their cars, which was really a lack of a lead, not a lead. Sharon and Phyllis are in a fight for their lives by the end of the week, going into March 17th through the 21st. Nick and Billy are together. They are determined to find Phyllis and Sharon, and after they get that lead from Chance, they're going to take off looking for the ladies. We got a little buddy car adventure, and you know, Billy may get a wake-up call about his feelings for Phyllis when he realizes how worried he is about her. Same for Nick where Sharon is concerned. Phyllis and Sharon will be out of this terrible mess soon, and we'll see who's behind the kidnapping, whether it's friend or foe, and whether Phyllis and Sharon can finally put an end to their long-standing rivalry that everybody is sick of, their friends, their family. Romantic entanglements and family conflicts, Audra's secrets, Summer's sabotage, and Victor's frustrations. So, with Billy and Nick in the car out on the hunt, after getting that clue from Chance, the big question is, will they be the ones to find the ladies? I mean, it'd be kind of wild if both of them got to play White Knight, Billy for Phyllis, Nick for Sharon. Audra is still hiding things from Nate about her past with Holden and their involvement with Tucker McCall, Trevor Street John, and how deep that went. Audra does have Nate's permission to keep using him for info on Damien, but with secrets still hidden, this Audra Holden thing may jeopardize what possibly could be a happily ever after for her and Nate. Summer finds more ways to cause problems for Kyle and Claire, and Victor may give her a high five because he definitely wants Claire away from Kyle, and Claire's pretty much figured out what she's doing. So Summer may go from being passive-aggressive to just outright aggressive with her sabotage. Also, Victor questions Adam about what he's doing, and you know, he's the one kid that was actually doing what Victor wanted him to do pretty much. Victoria's pushing back, Claire's pushing back hard. The bottom line though, the Abbotts and Jebot are a hot-button issue for Adam. He remains friends with Jack, which infuriates his father. You know, Victor may be so frustrated with his kids and grandkids that he may try and tighten the reins to get them back in the line he thinks they should be in, but that just may make them push back harder. Young and the Restless wedding bells, Tracy's engagement and Ashley's return. It looks like Tracy may have a ring on her finger these 2 weeks, and if so, questions, will they elope? Or is this going to be a big Abbott wedding? Because we do know Ashley Abbott, Eileen Davidson, is returning. Thank you for being a loyal listener. Young and the Restless next week. Sharon tempts Nick and Summer scared. Young and the Restless spoilers for March 17th through the 21st are smoking hot. We are going to talk about Nick Newman, Joshua Morrow, being tempted by Sharon Newman, Sharon Case, and Summer Newman, Allison Lanier, being very afraid that Phyllis Summers, Michelle Stafford, is still in danger. As we end this week, the week we're in now that ends on March 14th, we have the fantastic news that Sharon and Phyllis are finally free. Nick, Billy Abbott, Jason Thompson, and Chance Chancellor, Connor Floyd, rode to their rescue. And the dynamic also between Phyllis and Sharon has dramatically shifted. The two ladies worked together to find the camera so they could dismantle it. And the kidnapper couldn't see them. Then Sharon and Phyllis had a great time trashing the room and taunting their captor. But it's too bad because it set off some alarms, some auto reactions that psycho fake Alan Laurent, Christopher Cousins, had set up. And he, of course, is now confirmed as their kidnapper. Young and the Restless spoilers. Nick's temptation and Sharon's plea for reunion. Fake Alan had things set up to punish Sharon and Phyllis, and he had one last trick, filling the room with toxic gas that was waiting for them. As they started choking, and Phyllis collapsed just in time, Billy, Nick, and the cops rushed in and saved them. Next week, we are going to see how Sharon and Phyllis are doing now that they are both home safely. Spoilers for next week for Nick and Sharon on Young and the Restless are about Nick being tempted to consider a possible reunion with Sharon. We're going to see Nick in deep conversation with Sharon at Crimson Lights. She's looking pretty good, none the worse for wear after her ordeal at the hands of that psycho. And Sharon tells Nick she wants him to be honest with her about his feelings. Then Sharon asks Nick if he ever thinks about them getting back together. And we know from Sharon's Valentine's Day daydream that she is definitely hoping to be reunited with Nick. This horrible thing that Sharon has gone through might have Nick ready to just go ahead and take that leap. They may finally reunite, seeing as Young and the Restless finally reunited Chelsea Lawson Newman, Melissa Claire Egan, and Adam Newman, Mark Grossman, who were also on a painfully slow path to reconciliation. Hopefully, Sharon and Nick will both admit they have feelings for each other and begin a new romantic chapter, and if they don't, it's going to be a huge letdown for Chic fans. Because of the slow build-up between Nick and Sharon that's been going on literally for more than a year. Young and the Restless, Nate's family drama, Amy's leukemia battle and Damien's concern. Also next week on Young and the Restless, Damien Kane, Jermaine Rivers, shows up at his brother Nate Hastings' Scene Dominic apartment asking about his mom, Annie Lewis, Valerie Pettiford. If you remember, recently, Nate set up an appointment for Amy with a friend of his who's an oncologist in Chicago. And they came down to see her and then took her away to Chicago to get tests done. So Nate's hoping to find a way to treat Annie's leukemia. You know, he's hoping for a cure or at least a way to prolong her life and give her a better quality of life. Next week, Damien asks Nate if it's true that Amy has been admitted to a hospital in Chicago. And I'm sure it is, otherwise Damien wouldn't have heard that news. This might actually be a good thing and not bad news. It could mean that Amy got into a clinical trial or is getting some sort of experimental treatment from Nate's doctor friend. On the other hand, it could be terrible news because Amy's leukemia might have taken a turn for the worse, and she's in the hospital getting end-of-life treatment. Hopefully, it's not that though. But either way, good or bad, Damien will likely end up going to Lily Winters, Crystal Khalil, to talk it through. They're getting a lot closer, which makes sense because Damien is set to be Lily's next love interest, and heaven knows she needs one. Whether Amy's getting a miracle cure or has run out of time, it should see Damien and Nate bonding as brothers at last. Summer's fears, Phyllis's bravery, and rekindled flames on Young and the Restless. Also, Summer and Phyllis sit down to discuss the aftermath of her kidnapping, and a shocked Summer is horrified when they talk. And Phyllis says the kidnapper wanted her and Sharon to be found, not so much horrified about that part. But because there's still an element of risk, Phyllis tells Summer whoever did this is a total whack job. And what's really got her daughter upset and worried about Phyllis is because the kidnapper has not been caught. So next week, spoilers have Summer very worried and saying that Phyllis is still in danger. The thing is, Summer seems to be more concerned about it than Phyllis. Phyllis doesn't seem too fazed about it. But on the bright side, Sharon and Phyllis finally seem to have put their issues aside. So that is a huge silver lining to this double kidnapping. If it was Alan's or Martin's experiment to see if they could put their feud behind them, well, it actually worked. Of course, he might have just been toying with them for fun because he's a twisted sociopath. Also, there may be a new chapter ahead for Phyllis. Just as this ordeal might have been a wake-up call for Sharon and Nick. The same may be true of Phyllis and Billy. They may find themselves rekindling their old flame despite Sally Spectra, Courtney Hope, being in his life. Also, Summer may run to Kyle Abbott, Michael Mealer, to use her ongoing fear about Phyllis as a way to keep getting close to him, and trying to drive Claire Grace Newman, Haley Aaron, away. Young and the Restless. Tracy's suspicion and fake Alan's deception. Will the truth unravel? The last spoiler we have for next week is a huge one. It's about Tracy Abbott, Beth Maitland, and fake Alan. On Friday, Tracy heard her fiance's phone blowing up with alerts and she grabbed it. And she saw a message on Alan's phone saying security has been breached and something about measures being taken. Just then, he comes out of the bathroom, and he sees Tracy with his phone in her hand. And his whole demeanor changes. He suddenly looks super sketchy, and then not Alan asks her what she's doing. The spoiler promo little video clip made it look like Tracy was suspicious, and that Alan might threaten her in some way that puts her in danger. It definitely looks like Young and the Restless wants us to think Tracy busts Alan next week as a villain, kidnapper, and imposter. And then her life is at risk. That's the way the promo looks to me. But I doubt it's going to go that way. Young and Restless. Alan dodges questions? I and R never resolves things easily or quickly. What's more likely is that Tracy is fed lies. And more gaslighting by fake Alan. He may say that the security alert was his place in Paris or his office there, because all Tracy saw was a message about a security breach, and it could literally be for any location anywhere.